Welcome to Tea in the Garden, where sacred rebels gather and we have conversations that matter.
We are three witchy women rooted in curiosity, creativity, and conscious living, here to sip the truth and spill the tea.
From soul growth to shadow work to cosmology to ancient history and everything in between, we are not afraid to get really deep, really honest, and be super silly along the way.
I'm Lauren New.
I'm Savannah Bolin, soon to be Alloway.
I'm Sita Ananda.
Welcome to
Welcome
the
to the
garden.
garden. Perfect. All
So
right.
bridesmaids when they're like, someday somebody's gonna turn around and make you cry. Sooner
Hold on. Today, guys, we are doing it quick and we're doing it dirty. Today is our energetic hygiene quickie. If you are not familiar with energetic hygiene and you are a sensitive being, oh Lord, you're going to want to strap in for this one because this is something that will improve the quality of your life and the power of your gifts by a lot. And it's something that you want to be doing as often as you brush your teeth. So grab a nice hot tea, sit down, and listen up.
And truthfully, if you are a highly sensitive, or even if you only cognize yourself to be a highly emotional person, this is the difference between you being a blessing and you being an absolute fucking menace to the world.
Mhm.
I'm watching the violin right now and I'm thinking of Hannah. I'm
That's
thinking
exactly
of
what I was thinking of. Like, think of the reality shows, like where someone is just so unhinged and constantly getting triggered, but it's like they have a good heart. They're really just extremely sensitive, but they don't know how to regulate. They don't know emotional intelligence yet. All these things that we have to learn to be able to navigate this world as sensitive souls.
Mhm.
Exactly. And these tools aren't just for beginners, right? Like it is an absolute necessity for beginners, but this is also a staple in any person who wants to be in harmony, even at an advanced
Mm-hmm.
level of self inquiry or self development or personal healing. It's great for beginners just as much as it's great for advanced practitioners because we have to come back to this all of the time. This is the base for everything else, the more advanced practices that you can step into. You still need these things to stay in
Mhm.
harmony.
I want to give like a quick metaphor. So, if we can equate being an advanced healer, Reiki healer, shamanic practitioner, Dharmic healer, whatever type of modality you do, maybe you're psychic medium, maybe you read tarot cards, you're an astrologer. I
Mhm.
want to equate that higher level of proficiency to being a professional makeup artist. So, the first thing that any makeup artist who's high level, who does these crazy glam looks, will tell you is you have to have amazing skin prep. Even on the days that you're not going to be doing a full beat and a full glam and a cut crease and the contour and the blush, even the days that you're just going to be like mascara and lip gloss, you still have to prep your skin and get your skincare down. This is the first step for any type of healing or psychic or modality like this, um, whether you are going to be practicing or practicing that day or not.
And I think
Mhm.
that it's really easy, like, even for us, it happens all the time. It's like as soon as we're feeling a little funky or things are off, we often, a lot of times, even are the ones to remind each other, like, have you been doing your like basic shit? And it's like, no, that's exactly what's the first thing to go out the window and exactly the only reason you feel really like you're in a funk energetically and spiritually, right? Like, and then it's really that simple. And our brain loves to complicate it and think that there has to be these crazy, advanced,
Mm-hmm.
special solutions to our problems when in fact that's absolutely not the case. Most of the time, it's truly the simplest stuff that we need to return to again and again and again, and that's what makes us what makes us masterful at something, right? Is doing something 1,000 times and becoming
Mhm.
master at it.
Mhm. And it's also even just to liken it to Maslow's triangle, talking about like the basic needs of a human being and what we need. The bottom is the most basic, but it's the most important. It is the foundation of everything else that you can build on. So just like you
Mhm.
need shelter and you need food and you need water, you also need these basics in your life as well.
Heck yeah. So today we're going to go through your 5-step daily routine. These are somatic practices to thrive and feel amazing as an empath, as a highly sensitive person, as an intuitive. It's gonna, the first times that you go through this, it might take you a little bit longer, but I do these things for myself in 5 to 10 minutes, 1 to 2 times a day, and ain't shit coming into my auric field. And if it is, I notice it immediately because I'm so clear, I'm so in my own energy, I'm so protected in my bubble and my telepathic channels. So if something whack comes in, I notice it. And that's so amazing going like beyond the basics, reading energy. Things are much more easily read by me when I am so clear, when I'm that clear channel.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get into the first one. First step of 5 is grounding. Grounding is you are grounded when you are in your body in the present moment. Now, if you are very sensitive, it is likely that you love to uproot out of your body. You feel a lot of the times like a floating head, like you're not where you are physically. That's normal. That's very normal for intuitively, empathically, psychically gifted people to live in the upper chakras because we're much stronger here. But what we want to do is we want to come fully into our body, occupying our lower chakras as well, owning our space, owning our body. And that is the first step, grounding, to reconnect with being in your body in the present moment by stimulating your 5 senses.
And I think it's really interesting that actually the upper chakras, now it's not so black and white, but the upper chakras in many ways are a lot of masculine energy. And the lower chakras, all of the kind of the parcels of the spiritual path that has been totally removed from the equation for the last few thousand years, is very much feminine in nature, very much about being in the body, embodiment, somatic practice, becoming a part of the world, right? Not withdrawing from it. And both of those have their places. But grounding is so essential, not only for being a sensitive person, but being, if you also consider yourself neurospicy in any way, you're maybe also occupying a female body, even more absolute importance to be coming into your body. And ironically, it also makes you better at going out of it, right? And reading energy and working with energy. But there are a lot of amazing practices, very simple practices we can do to ground down. A lot of the Dharmic tradition centers in a lot of grounding practices inherently. It can be as simple as vitamin N, going out in nature, walking, grounding your feet on the earth with soil, with trees, with plants, with sunlight. But a lot of it is going to come down to the senses. And we're going to give you guys very specific techniques you can do in both the free webinar you can get below and the energetic hygiene empath survival guide that's going to elaborate on some of these techniques that we're mentioning throughout this podcast. But we want to give you context on kind of the what and why it's so important. The other aspect of grounding I just wanted to mention is the nervous system. The nervous system plays such a fundamental role, and the nervous system, it's like, it's the key word right now in the wellness space. Everybody's talking about the nervous system, but for good reason. And without regulation of our nervous system, good luck. Good luck doing everything else. Everything else can really, really become very distorted very quickly without regulation of our nervous system. Our intuition itself can become very clouded. And a lot of times what we might read and call as intuition might not be intuition at all when our nervous system isn't regulated. That's the truth. And it's important to be able to be safe and be regulated and be in parasympathetic in your body to have clear intuition and clear psychic guidance. So One of the ways we can really do this too is through breath work, through pranayama, as we call it in the yogic tradition. There are many different breath regulation techniques that specifically stimulate your vagus nerve, like Brahmari pranayama, Ujjayi pranayama, and some of these we're also going to walk you through in the guides that we give. Anything you guys want to add on to grounding?
Yeah, I would also say a lot of the techniques and tools that we teach you seem so simple, and they are. And I think because they are so simple and because they are absolutely free and all you have to do is go do them, go embody those practices, I think a lot of people actually skip them because they think, oh, this is so simple. How is this going to help me? I need something bigger. I need something more. But in reality, you don't. You just need consistent practice of grounding, of doing some of these practices, like being in nature. You don't have to do anything other than go be in nature, and your nervous system, your energy is going to respond to it. You don't have to do anything. You just have to go be out there, right? So just know these things seem simple, but they're going to be the most profound for you.
Like skincare. Get flawless beat without great skincare.
So what's next on our energetic hygiene list?
Step number 2, clearing. Now that we're in our body, we're ready to release foreign energy and restore our own. If there's an energy in your body, in your field, 99.9% of the time, it does not belong to you. And if you are empathic, you are a dumpster for other people's emotions, for random energies and thoughts and feelings just flying through the ether. They're attracted to you like a moth to a flame. And so it is so important that every single day you are pulling that out and releasing that out of your space so you can be in your own energy, your own essence. And that always feels so good.
This is ultra important, especially for those who are very sensitive or very intuitive or on the spectrum and are recognizing patterns and are hyper vigilant of other people's energy, body language, subtle things. This can be very exhausting, and this can be also very overwhelming. So if we're continually clearing, there's going to be less and less overwhelm. There's going to be less and less demand energy. There's going to be less and less of other people's energy in your space, so that when it does pop up, like Savannah was talking about in the beginning, you're much more able to recognize, this isn't mine, this is someone else's. Like for me personally, practicing this one as a telepathic person, it has made me feel so much more psychic because the intuition is so much more clear because I'm not having everyone else's thoughts, emotions, energies in my space. Right. So definitely ultra important and will heighten your awareness and heighten your senses, physically and energetically.
I feel like when you practice clearing consistently, what the fruit of that is that you develop an amazing discernment for what's yours and what's not yours.
Oh,
that's like
yes.
One of the greatest gifts I think that you will get from consistent practice of this. And like Lauren just said, to know what is you clearly, and when something is coming in, knowing when it's not from you and being able to do something with that or know where it's coming from is one of the best ways to develop, psychic wisdom, energetic wisdom, right?
I did my energetic hygiene this morning during acupuncture, and because I was like face down, I was like, you know what, might as well. And so I was feeling very clear, and then I had a lot of demand and just kind of like stank energy come in my space this morning from someone. And because I was so clear, I was able to immediately be like, no, thank you. I'm going to clear that out of my space, deal with that, shut that down. Like, it's okay. But in the past, I might have thought that that was me and what's wrong with me and why do I feel so bad all of a sudden, when in reality, that wasn't even mine. Like, that's one of the first questions that I ask someone in a healing and clearing session when we bring up and talk about an energy or an emotion that's in the space. Like, is this even yours? And 9 times out of 10, it's not. So super important. I'm going to bring us to step number 3, and that is meditation, which is not mindfulness. It's not, people say like, oh, I do the dishes. It's very meditative. I'm sure, yes, it is meditative. We can bring a lot of mindfulness to all kinds of practices, and we definitely should do that. But meditation itself is a thoughtless awareness. It's a little bit deeper. By definition, it is when we move our brains into theta waves, which is similar to when we're falling asleep or when we're waking up, or if we do a shamanic journey. And you can do this through silent or guided, because I know we have a lot of neurospicy people here. They're like, oh, I can't just sit down and meditate. In the free empath survival guide and sensitivity to superpower workshop down below in the show notes, we will show you how it is possible as an ADHD person to meditate in silence. I felt in the past like I couldn't do it, and now I'm able to just drop in and sit for 20, 30 minutes, and it feels like 2 minutes. So you
Yeah,
can start with guided meditation, though.
I always thought I was really bad at meditation for years because I'm super hyperactive. But here's the missing piece of that puzzle, the huge missing piece of that equation, which most people really mess up on, is that all the steps we just talked to you about before this step, that's the missing piece. When you come into your body, when you do grounding practices, when you release energy that's not yours, meditating, actually becoming in a no mind state, naturally progresses because you've done those other steps. You can't just sit and go into no mind most of the time. Most people cannot do that, right? And that's not the reality of the world that we're living in right now. Actually, in the Vedic tradition, this yuga is called Kali Yuga. It is an era of darkness and conflict in many ways with the mind. And it is almost next to impossible to just fall into meditative states in Kali Yuga. So we really have to know that, and it's not something we're like, let me prove that wrong, or like, I'm different, or I want to stand out, but more so just understand that we can be gentle with ourselves, and when we use the right tools, we can really get into that no mind state much easier.
This is really a training of the brain, right? This is almost an exercise for you and for your conscious awareness to begin to gather back and gain back power from the monkey mind, the thinking mind, right? And moving into that pure power state of awareness. And it's just like any other training or workout. You guys know I like to compare everything to workouts, just like Savannah loves to do the beauty and skincare and all that. I'm all about putting it into physical training standards. And if you think about it, the first day you go to the gym, you're not going to be able to lift that much. You're
Mm-hmm.
new, you don't know what you're doing. Your nervous system isn't used to what you're doing. Your body isn't used to the demand of weight. And so you have to build that over time of going back and doing it again and again and again. And over time, little by little, by creating those little tears of intentional breakdown, of intentional, no, I'm going to control this moment, or I'm going to move into that awareness in this moment. Over time, you get stronger. You're more able to move into these states more with awareness, more intentionally, longer, deeper, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it's a practice.
You're honing your ability to sit in stillness and to choose what thoughts you want to have and not have, which
Right.
is so powerful.
And what does that mean in a larger scale? It means you're able to be in your consciousness, not in your mind, in your consciousness. And that is the most powerful place you can ever operate from in any aspect of your life. All
To
right.
be like in your higher self almost.
Yeah, exactly.
So then we have number 4. So what's happened so far? We've come back into our body. We've released foreign energy that isn't ours. We've come into a state of equilibrium and stillness. And because golden rule and energy work, because we have removed a lot, now we need to put something back in its place. And so step number 4 is fortifying. We are not just filling back in with Reiki, golden healing energy, but also we're reclaiming our energy from all the places it may have gone out into the world. We hear, that there's a war overseas, and maybe we send some of our healing energy there. Or maybe we saw someone really attractive on Love Island and we sent some of our sacral energy there, right? We're calling all of our energy back from all space and time and giving ourselves a blessing feeling back in our body, our chakras, our auric field.
Yeah, I think you described it really perfectly, Sav, and I just think that it's just as we were talking about the idea of taking on what's not ours and clearing it, it's the opposite too. We've given out a lot of our energy and now we're filling it back in. We're reclaiming that energy. We're reclaiming the emotional energy that we have sent out, the emotional cords that we have created with people, places, things, the energetic subconscious cords we've created with people, places, and things. And we're reclaiming all of the energy that is sovereign and is ours. So sending out what's not and bringing back what is.
I think that this is the ultimate self-care practice, right? This is the intentional practice of pouring back into yourself and
Mm-hmm.
reclaiming your power intentionally. And that shit is powerful. And it seems in the moment, it seems powerful, but over time, it is incredibly um, incredibly powerful because it builds over time, and you are going to be less and less unconsciously giving your power, your energy, your awareness away because you've been intentionally calling it back in and pulling it back in, clearing, practicing that awareness, practicing this fortifying. You begin to keep more of your energy. You begin to be able to hold boundaries better. You get to feel better more often. You get to notice more when it's not yours and when it's somebody else's and know what to do with it. So this is probably one of my favorite practices in this 5 steps.
Hmm. I feel like next episode we should talk exclusively about boundaries.
I would love that. AKA a
Oh,
relationship episode, say less.
oh man, I have struggled with boundaries my whole life. All right, put a pin in that. Let's finish this out. Quick and dirty, energetic hygiene, step number 5. And that is shielding, okay? We've applied all of our skincare, all of our makeup, and now we need to spray our setting spray, right? We have made our auric field, our body, our chakras so beautiful, and now we want it to stay that way for some amount of time. And so, shielding, that is protecting our energetic bubble, our body, our chakras, our mind, our thoughts, our feelings, consequentially. So there are many ways to do that. I think let's show them just one, maybe. Let's show them the Weir Kocha because I feel like it's so easy. And
Mhm.
you can shield without doing the first 4 steps. You can technically do any of these without doing the other steps, though I recommend if you take something out, you should put something back in to replace it. But if you have your energetic hygiene and you're going to the grocery store, you might want to throw up a quick shield.
Okay, so yes, the shielding technique of opening your wear cocha is traditional to the Caro Incan shaman lineage of Peru, the Andes Mountain shamans or Pacos. And they practice this as a personal energetic shield. So, this is something that protects your personal energy, but allows you to still perceive what's going on around you without taking it on. So, super simple practice. It's a physical, intentional, and energetic practice, meaning you do a physical aspect of it while intending that you are opening this protective energy around your body, and energetically that is what happens. The more you practice it, the stronger it gets, the more you're going to notice the difference. Again, like the fortifying, this is one of those practices that compounds on itself. So we start the physical practice of placing our hands in the heart space, moving our hands up and through the upper chakras and extending the arms all the way up. So when our arms are extended here, we're actually in our 8th chakra, which is our connection to the divine and the shamanic lineage, right? So in this space, I like to call it peacocking, where we pull that source energy down and around us, intending that we are pulling this source energy down and around us, visualizing, if you're a visualizer, seeing this beautiful golden energy, kind of making a bubble around your aura, and making sure that it's completely closed underneath your feet, right? So it'll look something like this. Pulling it down and around, closing. Thank you, and moving into gratitude. So, super simple physical practice. The more you practice it, the more you're going to feel it, the better you're going to feel. Um, yeah, one of my original practices that I started.
And I feel like with shielding, when you really cognize that you are shielded, and listen, even if it was just placebo, it is so powerful. When you fully believe that you're protected, you are. Yeah. That's all Lauren like saying at the same time. You are. And you really feel that stuff isn't violating you anymore in the ways that it might have in the past. And it's a very empowered space to be in, and something I wish for all human beings to feel. So yeah. That's
There
our
are
little
many, oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
There are many different ways to shield. Again, we go over those in our we have 2 free resources for you today. Empath Survival Guide. It is a booklet. You can print it out. You can see it in PDF. Super, super amazing. We go into in-depth practices for each of these 5 steps of energetic hygiene. We also have a longer format. It is a recorded workshop. We did the sensitivity to superpower. I believe it's like 90 minutes. It might be even a little bit longer, where we go through every single different tool under each of the 5 energetic hygiene steps. So definitely check those out in the show notes.
We also have a 6th practice we did in sensitivity to superpower. And I think it was, let me check. I have it here.
Seeing.
Yeah. Seeing.
So that was like we got ourselves on lock. Now we are gonna read energy outside of ourselves. We're gonna see how much more tuned our gifts are when we're all right at home.
Indeed. So that was our little energetic hygiene quickie for you guys. Hope that it was a short, sweet introduction, and that you also go ahead and learn the how of these practices much more in depth with the video and PDF resources that we have for you below.
Yes. And thank you guys so much for sitting with us today in the garden. We hope that this conversation stirred something up for you deep within your heart. If you have more questions, be sure to follow us, share, and leave a little love in this episode if it resonated with you. And if you'd like more information, definitely check out those resources we've given you, and we'd love to connect with you.
Yay.
Just a reminder for anyone that has been staying with us, we have this podcast on Spotify and YouTube currently, so you can subscribe to us there. We also have a very active Instagram account at Ancient Soul Gardens, and we have an upcoming retreat in Egypt this November, which we still have some spots for, so you can find more information about that as well on our Instagram page. Well, thank you all so much, and we will see you on the next episode.
And that's the tea.